Coming up on today's CodeBet Daily. Oh, my lord. We are covering a lot of ground today, Alex. I'll tell you about that much. What are you looking at?
What have I got? FA Cup. I have my first NBA bet ever, and for once, I rag on Carlton. Oh, no, I do that all the time.
Oh, man, you're breaking my heart. But either way, we're covering State of Origin, AFL, NBA as well. It's going on. It's going hammer and tongs. I love it. Player props, game picks, best bets. It's all there. It's really good. It's CodeBet Daily. Check it out. All right, welcome to CodeBet Daily. It is Wednesday, May 31st. All day. I believe this is episode 121. I want to say that. I feel like it's right.
Sounds right.
I like that. All right, I'm your host, Jaymz Clements. I'm the editor of a very good website. It's called CodeBet. In a surprise twist, this is called CodeBet Daily. The website's CodeBet. What a surprise. Yeah. We don't have Stats Guy. We do have confirmation that he is still alive after Game 7 yesterday in Boston.
Yep.
He didn't end up like Millhouse under the chairs in the rubble.
We don't know that. We know that he's alive.
He'd survive. He might have found an adult. But either way, we instead have just Alex Donnelly. What's going on, Alex?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm still pushing through for my title to be Junior Executive Vice President of Content Creation here at CodeBet. Given that I'm the only one, I don't know why I'm calling myself a junior.
Well, I guess, does that make you junior to Marcus? It does now.
Maybe.
Today, easy one today. We did a massive State of Origin show yesterday with our NRL expert, Phil. So if you haven't listened to that, go absolutely hammer and tongs all over because it was really good. Apart from, I don't know, me and some of my sort of thoughts on it going, hang on a second, what? Queensland? Why are we not all going Queensland? You guys suck. But basically, I'm still going with Queensland. We'll talk a little bit more about Origin today just because there's a couple more of those little player prop things that popped up that I'm going to just throw out there. But otherwise, we do look at player props, game picks, and best bets across a whole bunch of stuff today. I will have a little bit of AFL, a little bit of NBA, and of course, a little bit more State of Origin just as a quick look ahead for tonight. We'll have Rate My Multi as well, which is be, I think it's actually my game bets, I think. Yeah. Just combine them,
sure.
Which is pretty good because I actually like them a lot. What about you, Alex? What are you going to look at?
A little bit of AFL, a little bit of FA Cup, and I'm delving into your world, the NBA, for the first time.
How dare you? Right, let's get into it then. Player props, try scorer bets for tonight. State of Origin. It's a weird one, Alex. I don't know how you feel about Origin in Adelaide. A weird neutral venue where no one seems to care about league. But here we are.
I get it because then it's like one neutral, one at home. But that was the cool thing about State of Origin, having alternating years where New South Wales would have 2 home games. The next year, Queensland would have 2 years. And it just make the first game so much more bigger because if the away team can win it, it almost is like, ooh, you might win Origin here. It sets the scene so well. And then also 9 times out of 10, you're usually going to a third and final decider anyway. But yeah, I don't mind it. Don't really care. If you lived in Victoria, you wouldn't know the game was on unless it was your job.
Yeah, not a giant amount of coverage down here. I'll tell you that much.
No.
But either way, look, I do sort of feel like the neutral venue thing does get underplayed a little bit in these ones. But I think especially with try scorer things, you just go, all right, talent. Simple as that, right? Brian to score more tries than Selwyn Cobbo. I love this one. I love a bit of Selwyn Cobbo. Don't get me wrong. And as I've said before, my pronouns are Katoni and Stags. But either way, $1.73 for To'o to go more than Cobbo. I really like that. I just think there's not too many options where he doesn't get in, obviously, tonight.
Yeah.
Whereas Cobbo, you have that moment of there are a lot of attacking options and he might just miss out. But he is immensely talented, but I kind of like To'o. To be honest, he could go for 2 and you'd be like 6. So if you don't mind some of those bets of all right, if you're going to go player props, you go to at the 2+ and you go, hang on a second. Our odds are getting tasty now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you. Because anytime you go the multiples, it just gets
$8 to score 2 or more tries.
There you go. So I kind of like that. So you could almost, if you're feeling really good about that one, off you go. But I do like the head-to-head bets. There are a bunch of them across our partners, Ladbrokes, Bet365, Better, and Top Sport, of course. There's also another one, Reece Walsh, to have more tries than Jaymz Tedesco. This one's a bit trickier.
Is he favourite Reece Walsh?
He is. Well, actually, no. He's not favourite. I went the underdog here. He's $1.92. I believe Tedesco is the favourite over Walsh.
Oh, gotta love those 50-50 markets not being 50-50.
Straight up, right? It's $1.72 for Tedesco over Walsh and $1.92 for Walsh.
Terrible bookmaking. What are you doing?
That's exactly why I went with Walsh, because I feel like there's better value there because he's going to be just as involved.
No value. This is terrible.
That's value, obviously, right?
Yeah, exactly.
First, I'm getting the better value with Walsh, I think.
God,
but
I hate
like Walsh
bookmakers.
because it's his debut. I think, look,
Yeah, I reckon he's going to get bashed up. A lot of high balls from Cleary at him with Tedesco and Co just charging straight at him. The debutant game one of this very hungry New South Wales team are just like, righto, who are we going to aim at and whose night is going to be a living hell that they want to crawl into some random bar at Adelaide and never return ever again? Reece Walsh.
He's just too handsome. I think that's the problem. I think they're just going to look at it and go, nah, get the pretty boy. Boom. And I mentioned this one yesterday, and the more I've thought about it, the more I like it. The first try score of Stephen Crichton. The fill-in obviously comes in for Latrell, and he's still $14. Like, yeah. I love it.
Well, given all the talent around him, that's why.
He's done it so much over his last little bit of time. And this year as well, has already done it twice. Tom, your man Turbo, Tom Trebojevic, $12 as well. I like both of those too. They're probably my two favorites. How are you feeling about your player props, Alex?
Yeah. Well, I had my player props yesterday, which was Turbo Tom to cross the line anytime. I think it was about $2.80 and Tedesco to be man of the match. But if Queensland were to win it, have something on Cam Munster. But my player props are circulating around Friday night at the MCG where your beloved, I say that very strained, Carlton take on the Melbourne Demons in what is shaping to be a very, very average matchup given the form of the two teams. We're going to start off with Christian Petracca, though. 30-plus disposals Friday night. He's done it in 5 of his last 6 at the MCG. And you saw last week for the Swans where if he gets against Carlton, if you get players who can get to the outside and work extremely hard, you're going to get a lot of touches. Chudley Warner, 29. Jake Lloyd with 35. Really interesting, though. Petracca is yet to crack 30 against Carlton, which really interested me. I was like, having a look through, but then Clary Oliver had a bunch of disposals and Yad in Melbourne have won their last 7 against Carlton. I think $1.88 is a pretty good bet there. And also, anytime goal. I know it's only $1.57, but Petracca has kicked 8 goals 5 in his 8 games against the Demons throughout his career. Ooh. So that working forward and just bombing one from, 40, 50 out on the run from a clearance, that sort of looks good to me. And then we go with Patrick Cripps. Take the under. Bet365 usually have these unders. They're not out yet because they usually do wait for team lists, so that should be out tomorrow afternoon, early Friday morning. That'll probably be around 26.5 if you're going off his averages and his stats at the MCG. I'll be honest, he's not working hard enough. Isaac Heaney bashed him up on Friday night. Anytime he got near the ball, he got smashed. And anytime the Swans got the ball, Heaney took off and Cripps was just like, I'm not chasing. No, thank you. He's not working hard enough. I don't know if he's carrying injury or not, but he's just not working hard enough defensively. And even his forward output isn't going too well at the moment. Like, you look at his last couple of weeks, he's had 17, 26, 26, and 19 in his past 4 games. What has that coincided with, you ask me, Jim? Carlton losing.
Losses. Oh, yeah. I would push back on the Cripps just because, he elicited an apology from Caroline Wilson this week.
Yeah, so, I was going to say the Caroline Wilson thing did have me worried, but I was just like, we thought last week and the week before, big Carlton bounce back, it's coming. Nah, didn't happen.
I just feel like Cripps is addicted to notes, apologies, and Instagram posts at this point. It's like he might just be addicted to it. It's like, I just need to put out a thing on notes or on Instagram.
Like every other sporting athlete ever, notes, apologies.
I need to literally just get my proofreader to go over it. I'll get the missus just to give it a quick squeeze, make sure that the typing's all right, make sure the spelling's all correct. But maybe that's his problem. Maybe he's just addicted to social media and putting out apologies and platitudes, basically, and then firing back at the media as well. Like, why not? Now he's actually just going to deliver on the field. Yep. But Petracca, you're right about the goal. There is nothing more stuck in my mind about Petracca playing against Carlton than every time on the left wing, just coming off, just launching from by 48 and just kicking a goal.
Or also just sliding in and taking a mark 30 metres out unopposed. You're just like, that's right, he ran there.
It is fun. It's fascinating as well. Like, we'll talk about this in the AFL show tomorrow, but the Petracca Cripps thing, it's like, this is how you stand up when you're Petracca. Like, if you're Petracca, the way he's playing at the moment, like, that's how Cripps should be playing. He's just not. Like, the forward impact, there's just little there. Like, when Cripps is at his best as well, he just sort of has those moments where he sneaks forward and takes a mark.
Last year he kicked 20 goals. This year he's kicked 1 goal 9.
Yeah, it's horrible. So, anyway, not for me just to dwell on that, but guess what? It's going to come up again in my game picks. Let's do some match game picks. Easy ones for me. I'm just going to go some over-unders. I've got a slate of them, which I always like. Under for points tonight. As we've sort of talked about, you broke down the idea. Well, you and Phil actually talked about how, considering that the weather will likely be pretty good in Adelaide tonight for State of Origin. Overs is probably a good idea. And then we go, well, if it's going to go overs, you're probably best to go with New South Wales. They do have the more explosive backline, and they do have like a history of if the game goes over, that's the game that New South Wales wins.
Yep.
I just think Queensland are going to get this, drag it down, bring it into a bit of a rough and tumble war of attrition, I think was the phrase you used in today's paper. So I'm going the under 36 points, $1.90. The over for Nuggets Heat game 1 is only 219. Now, there's a phrase that we've coined about the Nuggets offense. It's the whirring death machine. They could put up almost 219 by themselves, Alex. Very easily put up 130 on a Heat team that could then just get to 100 and you've already hit it. So, look, the Heat, I'll break this down. Tomorrow's show will be much more NBA Finals focused. I'll actually have some Finals props as well. But for the first blush look at game 1, go the over. That's $1.87. And Melbourne Carlton, you mentioned this one. I'm going the under 164.5. These are two teams that have got very pop gun offenses at the moment. Carlton can't put a score on the board despite having 2 former Coleman medalists and a midfield that'll cost an arm and a leg. And Melbourne, meanwhile, it's like Bailey Fritsch, Roo,
Cozzy.
Cozzy. I mean, it's just, yeesh. It's not great. So
last 3 have gone under too.
Exactly. So there's a bunch of stats sort of point towards the under, which we'll break down the AFL show tomorrow. But there you go. So an under State of Origin, over NBA Finals game 1, under Melbourne Carlton on Friday night. And in a bit of a, I don't know, hashtag spoiler alert, that'll be my multi. What have you got for your game picks?
FA Cup final this weekend at Wembley. Manchester derby between Manchester City and Manchester United. I knew that'd get Jim as he was going for a sip of his coffee.
Every time I'm trying to have some coffee and you do a horrible English. It's like, is he Scottish? No one knows.
He's a bit of everything. Look, Man City, they're going to win this game. They're $1.50. Thank you very much. They've had a slight dip in their past 2 EPL games, but I flagged it. But they won the title. They didn't have anything to play for. It's like, yeah, we got the treble coming up. We don't care. Brighton, yeah, draw. Brentford, God bless you, winning. So we got some value in going against Man City in the last 2 games, and now we're getting 50% return on investment here when for some reason they're not $1.30. Manchester United don't have Anthony Martial. That came out this morning that he's injured and won't be playing, which is a slight concern for United as they've struggled to score like a lot of goals this season. You just have a look through the EPL season, and then you look at all the teams that scored all the goals that were high up. And United only scored 58 goals throughout the season. City, 94. Arsenal, 88. Newcastle, 68. Liverpool, 75. Brighton, 72. Even Tottenham scored 70 goals. So just like, that's the one thing that they've been lacking. 58 goals in 38 games. Coming up against the Manchester City, who averaged, 2.5 a game, basically. They're going to win this. They're going to win it well. Manchester City and over 2.5 goals at $2.10, I believe it is, with Ladbrokes. I will take that because this could be, something like a 3-1. We have seen Man United actually get scores dragged out of them by City because we're going to try. Counter-attack! Go! Yeah.
It went the other way. It went the other way.
I think it was a 6-3 and a 3-2 in their 2 derbies this year as well. So in the EPL, so yeah, goals galore. But Man City and over 2.5 goals, even if it is something just like a 2-1 or a 3-0, pretty happy with that at $2.05.
That's a great call. I like that a lot. The vibe on that as well. Like, this is the second leg of the treble. It does feel like this could be the point where you go, well, traditionally you'd think this is where a team would trip up. They might just be looking forward.
Well, they've won the title. They've enjoyed life. Yeah, like usually they've been knocked out of the Champions League in the quarters or the semis. It's like, oh, man, we got another game, really? And this is when, like, an Arsenal or an Aston Villa beats them 1-0 in, like, the worst game ever.
Yep. This is a great setup. I love it because I just want to see City play at their absolute best, and that would be absolutely gnarly.
I think FA Cup's also on KO and Bean, so we should get that.
Really? Cool. Nice. All right, let's do some best bets for today, tomorrow, whenever. This is my NBA final stuff. Look, again, I'm just going to lean back on that Origin pick, though. So Queensland, 3 of the last 4 at the line. I'm going Queensland, baby. What is it? Plus 2.5, I think, with some of the places that we've got. So I think they could win a very close one. If not,
2.5 is $1.83 currently with Ladbrokes.
Nice. But the NBA finals. So a couple of great. The best part about the finals, the amount of like amazing markets where you can have most points scored, most assists gathered, most rebounds gathered, rather, most assists handed out. Those sorts of things are really good. Guess what I'm going to talk about on tomorrow's show? Those! It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. I'm literally just like a kid in a candy store. It's like when the squid goes to the Lego store, he's like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. He's just like, everything's Lego. This is incredible. That's me when it comes to finals.
Also, his voice isn't that deep, but yeah.
No, it's not quite. It's like, that. It's like, yeah, buddy. But either way, some awesome ones. The initial thought, and I made this on Fox Sports Lab, we sneakily taped a Nuggets Heat segment last week when both teams were up 3-0, expecting, well, it's never happened, so we may as well tape it now. It came very close to being a waste of time, obviously, but Miami win through. My pick in that show was Nuggets in 5, in 5, to, turn the classic Suns in 4 on its head. And after we saw Miami just sort of not fall across the finish line, they demolished Boston in Game 7 yesterday, right? Yeah. They looked awesome. The problem is Denver looks so much better than both those teams. Like, it is a demo job. And that was before, I made that in 5 pick before we saw Miami then just stink it up for 3 straight games and let Boston back in the series. So 4-1 is still on the cards at $2.90.
Yeah, I like that.
And you can get the sweep, which I kind of like, but I still feel like the series in 5 games, it feels like it screams gentleman sweep to me. Like, it's the Nuggets' first trip to the finals ever. This is the 7th time that Miami have been. This is the 6th trip for Eric Spoelstra, the coach. And you just know that at some point Miami will take a game.
Yeah.
Just the coaching at home, they'll get one of them.
But isn't it also like you get to Game 5 and you're at home and it's just like, yeah, we can celebrate here.
Exactly, because all Denver really have to do is just go, right, as long as we win our first 2 at home, we're basically unbeatable at home. Well, they're like 41-7, I think, so far this season at home, which is chaos. And so the Denver in 5, it feels very much like, right, we just got to get one in Miami if we take care of those first 2, which they very easily, they weren't a great road team, but they were good enough. And guess what they did in LA? They won both, and they swept the Lakers. So they've got the form on their side. They've been rested. They've rested for like a week and a half. They finished last Tuesday our time, I think, and they don't play till Friday our time. It's a week and a half off. You could go to Cancun and back in that time, Al. Simple as that.
I like it.
In 2010, we were actually in Mexico before we went to the All-Star game in Dallas. And then Dallas Mavericks forward Sean Marion was on our flight out of Cancun to Dallas. It's like, did he just come down for 3 days? Like, what is that? It's just hanging out. He's going to go do some cool stuff in Dallas. But 4-1, Denver is the pick for me. The exact order, I'm going to do that tomorrow as well. I'm going to break down the numbers on that. And in Game 1, I think you might even hit on this in a second, but yeah, the line bet is just screaming at you as well, right? Like, it is rest versus rust. I don't think it matters when you're in Denver. I think you're just sitting there going, we're acclimatized to this. Miami coming off a road Game 7, going into a Game 1 on the road in Denver now. Like, that's way harder. That's unbelievable. So I'm going to go the line. I'll go the over, and we'll go Denver 4-1 in these NBA finals. And we'll have a whole mess of props for the finals tomorrow. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, as you said, steering into your lane, Nugs at the line. What is it, like -9, -8.5, depending where you look, at $1.90. Give me all of that. I think they're going to monster Miami. Like, obviously, I'm no massive basketball expert, but what I am, Jim, is a sport nerd, and just seeing that Miami have beaten the crap out of themselves all playoff series, and now do they go home after the road game to Boston and then go across to Denver? It's a lot of effort and toll on the body, and, as we've been calling the whirring death machine, they're just chilling. They're going, ha! That's cute. We're going to smash you. We've covered the line in our last 6 against you, or the spread as we call it in America. Pretty keen on that. $1.90. This is going to be one of my first basketball bets in a long time, and I'm going to be absolutely charging into that. And if it gets beaten, I will never bet on basketball again until next season.
It's a tricky one. Like Denver, in terms of like when you come to the line bets, right? Yeah. Like you look at someone like Boston, who were pretty good against the line, but they were favorites in so many. But I feel like bookmakers eventually got used to the point that Boston would also try their absolute hardest to not cover a lot. And that's why they sort of end up slipping down the standings. Whereas Denver, they just don't have these, like, talk about whirring death machine of offense, right? They just don't have, if they have lulls of scoring, it's very, very short, as against like teams like Boston who will just go, we might just score 4 points for the next 6 minutes. Like, that's horrible. Denver go, we'll just eke out like 4 possessions where we don't screw it up. whereas other teams will just screw up all the possessions. Denver are just that good that they just don't do it. Miami will throw looks at them, but I feel like in terms of covering, this is a team that can absolutely go hammer and tongs on you, cover that line pretty handily, and like win this like 122.99, and they get you over that over as well. Just saying. But in terms of like the line stuff, as you said, right? Like what is it? 6 straight against Miami, and Denver won 10 straight at home. Like I'm just game one is just pack her up, boys. We're done. It's going to be fascinating though. Can't wait. Just saying. Rate my multi. Let's do it. All right. Rate my multi. It's now got a theme song. So if we want to take my over, what was it? The under. That was $6.67 there. Yeah. So that was the State of Origin under.
Yep.
That was the NBA Finals Game 1 over. That was Melbourne Carlton under. $6.67. Now you might go, that's just not quite enough for me. That's just,
I mean, for some it is.
Of course it is. How about if we just start adding to that with the actual results of those games? Let's go.
Yeah.
Now let's go Melbourne to win by 1-39 as well.
Yeah.
Let's go Queensland plus 2.5. And of course, let's go a bit of the Denver Nuggets, you little beauty, at the line, which is currently -9. So what do we get to, do you reckon? It's going to be $44.13.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
So if you believe in Queensland, you believe in Denver, and you believe in Melbourne to win 1-39 against a horrible Carlton team, there you go. There's a $44 multi, 6-leg multi. Bang! Off you go. That's basically 3 doubles bets combined. So I kind of like that a lot. 44. I just have faith. In terms of the Queensland and the under, that's just the one that's been sort of yelling at me. So as soon as we started looking at Origin, and Denver, I just feel very confident about that one. Melbourne, I just hate Carlton at the moment. Carlton supporter, it is legitimately horrible to watch my team. So it's not even a spike it bet and just go, oh, geez, I hope Carlton make me feel happy even if my bet loses. No, don't care about that. Let's make me some money, Melbourne. So there you go, Alex. Rate my multi.
Yeah, I think Queensland are going to let you down on that. So if I was to do it, my counter would be New South Wales in the over, Denver -9.5 in the over, and Melbourne and under 164.5 points, which gets you to 32.72 with Ladbrokes. I think this Melbourne-Carlton game hits the under because Charlie and Harry can't get goals. Melbourne don't have a forward line. It screams 75-40.
Yeah. Carlton struggling to 40 points is hilarious. So did you just have Melbourne as the win there?
Yeah, Melbourne the win and then the under. I put it this way, I didn't have long enough to search deeply for the 1-39 and under.
All right. The point being, I think with the 1-39 is that Carlton have lost their last 8 straight against teams higher than them on the ladder by 1-39.
Yeah.
So who's going to stop that? Is it going to be Melbourne? Who knows?
Probably not.
There you go. All right. There's plenty covered in today's show. That was good. I enjoyed that. That's it. CodeBet Daily done for today. We'll be back on deck tomorrow. We'll also have an NRL show and an AFL show tomorrow. I believe that means Alex is pulling triple shifts. Not bad. Pretty good.
Here I was thinking my life has gotten easier. No.
You don't have an EPL show, though,
Thank
today.
God.
Either way, get right around all the shows. You can find them separated, I believe, on Spotify and some other apps as well, but they can also just be in your normal sort of podcast feed, so check them all out. Like, review, and chuck us a comment, rate and review it.
Please leave the 5 stars. We only want 5 stars. Anything less, go to hell.
Oh, I mean, checks out. I'm not going to argue with that. Send in any questions via the socials. Make Leo Ernie's crust, and I think that's it. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, as always, for producing this schmozzle out there to Gerald. Does a great job, doesn't he? And that's it. Thanks to me, because I don't know, I'm just like swimming in NBA Finals gear at the moment. I've never been happier. All right, what do we say, Alex?
Gamble responsibly.
All right, may all your picks come in happy punting. We'll catch you tomorrow. CodeBet Daily out.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.